We often talk about the scientific revolution of Europe and American, and today let's talk about the scientific revolution of Middle East.
The world often looks to the European Renaissance as the dawn of modern science. A scientific revolution had already transformed the Middle East centuries earlier. This was Islamic Golden Age, roughly 8th to 13th century, at times when Baghdad was the intellectual center of the world and the Dark Ages were a strictly European phenomenon. Here is the story of how a desert civilization built the bridge to the modern world.
The House of Wisdom, the world's first step. The story begins in 8th century Baghdad. Under caliphs like Harban, al-Rashid and al-Mamun, the city became the magnet of the world's greatest minds. They established the Bait al-Hikmah, or the House of Wisdom. Imagine a massive library university, where scholars didn't care about your religion, where you came from. It's about what you knew. They launched the translation movement, hunting down Greek, Persian, and Indian manuscripts, while work of Aristotle and Plato were being forgotten in Europe. They were debated, translated into Arabic, and most importantly, corrected and expounded upon Baghdad.
Good day everyone, I'm Vince Gian T. Bandojo, and now let's talk about the birth of the algebra. In 19th century, a Persian polymath named Al-Khwarizmi worked in the House of Wisdom. He didn't just do math, he changed how we think about it. Al-Khwarizmi was born on 783 in a region of Khorizm. He popularized the use of Hindu-Arabic numericals 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on, and the concept of zero. Without zero, modern binary code and the computer you are using right now would not exist. The algorithm, his name was Latinized to algorithmi, which gives use to word algorithm.
The man who taught us how to see before the 11th century people taught your eyes emitted rays that hit objects so you can see them.
A scholar named Ibn al-Haytham or al-Hazin disagreed. Like in a room, legend says he found madness to escape a moody caliph. He noticed a light streaming through a tiny hole in a shutter, projecting an inverted image on the wall. This was the camera obscura. He proved that light reflects of object into the eye. He often called the father of the scientific method because he insisted that theories must be proven through repeatable experiments, not just logic. Now, let's proceed to the canon of healing.
Chad medicine, the canon of healing. While medieval Europe was treating infections with prayer and leeches, Middle Eastern physicians were building hospitals with spirit wards for different diseases. Ibn Sina, he wrote the Canon of Medicine, an encyclopedia that remained the standard medical textbook in Europe and the Middle East for 600 years. He was the first to describe how contagious diseases spread through water and soil. Al-Zarawi, known as the father of surgery, he invented over 200 surgical instruments, many of which, like the scalpel and forceps, that look remarkably similar to the one used today.
Mapping the stars and the earth. Islamic scientists needed precise timing for prayer and navigation for trade. This led to incredible leaps in astronomy. The astronomer, they perfect this medieval GPS, using it to determine time, location, and the position of the stars. Al-Biruni, in the 11th century, using nothing but trigonometry and the height of a mountain, he calculated the Earth's circumferences to within 1% of the modern value, the legacy. The scientific revolution of the Middle East didn't just end. It flowed into Europe through Spain and Sicily. When the first European universities opened, their curriculum was built almost entirely on Arabic translations of Greek texts and the original discoveries of Muslim scientists. From the stars in the sky, many of which still have Arabic names like Aldebaran and Betelgeuse, to the algorithms in our pockets,